Well, you can see I have my hat on and I've got a jacket, and you can see for sure we're on another walk and talk. This is a super cool place and I'm going to get to share it with you today. So hello and welcome. Welcome to Input English. So this visit is to the Año Nuevo State Park. So right here I've got my permit. This is a visitor permit because they regulate how many people get to come here each day. Today it's very quiet, so it shouldn't be a problem, but they have a responsibility to keep this place in good shape so they don't let mobs of people come in here. They keep control of who comes and goes. So this is on the California coast, north of Santa Cruz. We're right at the ocean. You're going to see a lot of Pacific Ocean in a minute. This is the parking lot, and if you look over my shoulder, there's a hill right there, and that hill, the trees on that hill are dead. You can see a lot of green. So what happened here was a real calamity about 4 years ago in 2020, during the pandemic. If things couldn't be worse, we had massive wildfires, and wildfires went across these hills. And so behind me, those hills were swept by wildfires, and those trees that you see there are dead because of the fire. It looked terrible for years, and now the growth is coming back. It's kind of hard to keep Mother Nature down. And so with time, nature is repairing the damage from those fires. You still see those craggy trees, but the vegetation is coming back. So we're heading to the edge of the parking lot so that I can get us on the trail. It's a couple of miles out to the end of this trail, and our goal is to see and thereby show you some elephant seals. Elephant seals are large marine mammals that come here every year. I've come upon a large sign that explains what we'll see. They've estimated that perhaps we'll see a bobcat, some shorebirds, and of course the elephant seals are the goal. Here you can see around us the dried reeds. So this vegetation is similar to or identical to the vegetation you saw if you joined me on the walk to the Elkhorn Slough. This is a coastal habitat. We have a Mediterranean climate, and so we get a lot of rain over a period of 3 or 4 months, and then nothing for 8 or 9 months. And so this is that time that the vegetation has died, gone dormant, and there's not much going on. But in another 6 weeks, we're going to get some rain, and this place will become very green, very verdant. Verdant is a word people like to use for something that has turned green. Okay, so this is the walk. You can see I'm proceeding toward the Pacific Ocean. There's an island out there, and that island had a lighthouse on it, and there's a house. The house is a ruins, and there are no people on that island. It used to be a lighthouse, and the house was for the lighthouse keeper. It was for the person that ran the lighthouse, and they would live out there in that house. But it's gone into complete decay, and nobody goes there anymore. It's restricted. So this area along the coast is a place that we like to come, and when people come to visit us, we like to bring them here. This state park is one of those places, but slightly north of here there is a lighthouse at Pescadero. And then if you drive about 2 miles inland from the lighthouse, you get to the town of Pescadero. And it's a small town. It has maybe 600 inhabitants. And it's mostly a couple of stores and a couple of restaurants and really not a whole lot else. It's agricultural and tourist. It's very popular for visitors because of a restaurant. So my plan for today is to make this video at this state park and make another video to visit Pescadero. So this day is going to be a twofer. Twofer? What's a twofer? Well, it's an expression. We are very wont to take two words and glue them together and pronounce them very quickly. So, two for the price of one is the phrase, and if you say twofer, you're meaning two for the price of one. So this is going to be a twofer. There's a lot of activity in a pond over here. I can hear the beating of wings, and you can see a bunch of pelicans. There's a lot of activity over there. I'm not sure I'll be able to show you much, but I'm going to try. It sounds like they're doing a lot of stuff in that pond. So you can see the activity of those pelicans. They're socializing, if you will. They're beating their wings against the water. It looks to me like bird bath behavior. There is more than one kind of bird in there. There are some gulls, but the big birds are pelicans. The small ones are gulls. And the little pond there is a mixed population of both kinds of birds. When I was a kid, they taught me that, birds bathe in a bird bath to get rid of dirt and, clean their feathers. And, I accepted it because an adult told me that. It's like, oh, okay, bird, we bathe, they bathe. It makes perfect sense. And then I read a lot, and I realized that there's probably more to bird bath behavior than meets the eye. I think a lot of times people interpret what they see in terms of what is familiar to them. And so people are very familiar with other people needing to bathe for cleanliness, and so they assume that the reason birds bathe in a bird bath, or in this case in a pond, is to maintain themselves clean. And I don't argue with that. That may be one of the motivations. But I have another theory, not widely held by other people, but I'll share it with you. It is my considered opinion that bird bath behavior has a lot to do with gut flora biodiversity. So during the pandemic, I read a lot. I read a boatload about a bunch of subjects, including the microbiome. So the microbiome, microscopic, and biome means life. And so humans have trillions of microbes in their GI tract, in their gastrointestinal tract. And those microbes help us maintain our health. And without those germs, we can't be healthy. It's really funny because I was brought up basically told the only good germ is a dead germ. And the goal when I was a kid was to kill all the germs. And, cuts had alcohol poured on them or methylate or any number of remedies that are no longer used. But we were trying to kill all the microbes. Well, later on, we found out that those germs in our GI tract are super important, and they help us digest our food, they help us to maintain our health, and they make nutrients that we need. So far from being evil, they are essential for our life. One of the things that we discovered from research on this topic is that healthy organisms, healthy people, have tremendous biodiversity in their gut flora. That is, they have a lot of different kinds of bacteria in their GI tract, in their gastrointestinal tract. Well, it's not just people, it's all these other living organisms. And, you know, a bird wants to be healthy too. So it is my considered opinion that some of the reason that bird bath behavior exists is the benefit to bird populations, because they swap bacteria with each other. If one bird comes in, what's the chance they're going to eliminate some waste in the water? They do. What's the chance they're going to shed bacteria into the water? No, they do. And then the next bird comes in, and what do? They drink that water. So bird bath behavior contributes a great deal to the exchange of bacteria, microbes, between individuals. Now, is that a popular opinion that you're going to find on the internet, that people are reading about, that people are writing about? No, I don't think so. It's one of my perhaps unpopular opinions. But there's a basis for holding that opinion. So when we have visitors, we frequently bring them over to this part of the state because it's a beautiful place to show visitors and share the scenery. It's just very pleasant. So years ago, we were here with my daughter and her husband. It was many years ago, and we decided to go have lunch in Pescadero. And that's a good thing. The food there is great, very rich, and it was a wonderful visit. As we were driving back, I pointed out that this part of the Pacific coast is frequented by whales, which are migrating. At various times of year they migrate. One part of the year they tend to be going south, and another part of the year they tend to be going north. And that this section of the Pacific coast has a lot of whale sighting. So I suggested that if they were to look out the window of the car, they might see a whale spout. That is, as the whales surface, they blow out their breath in order to take a new breath, and that exhaled breath sends water and air skyward and is visible for quite a distance. And about the time I said those words, I think it was my daughter exclaimed, "Yeah, like that," and pointed, and she had seen a whale spout right there at that time. We pulled over. We pulled the car into a parking area along the coast and sat there for a while, and we saw a bunch of whales coming to the surface, blowing out their breath, taking a new gulp of fresh air and heading back under the water. And it was marvelous. It was fun to predict that it would happen and then have it unfold right there in front of us. That does occur here. People come here for whale watching from the shore. Now, that's not the way I would do it. If you want to come here and you want to see whales, you're better off going to one of the ports and paying for passage on a whale watching tour boat. For instance, in Monterey. In Monterey, there are whale watching tours that go out every day. And the only problem with those is if you're prone to getting seasick, because those whale watching boats get full of people, and a lot of the people get seasick. And so if you know you're prone to being seasick, you might steer clear of that. But if you're not susceptible to seasickness, then those are really wonderful. And we did one a number of years ago. We went out of Monterey and we saw lots of whales. We saw blue whales, we saw humpback whales. It was a very, very cool experience. But we were among the only people on the boat who were not seasick. So I just left the staging area. The staging area is where the ranger, the state park ranger, greets people who are coming onto this nature reserve and talks to them about the rules, and so they don't violate the rules. Basically, you just have to stay clear of the elephant seals. You have to stay on the path. The paths are well marked and they're roped off, and they don't want people just roaming around cross country. But the rules are not super difficult. They're really common sense, reasonable rules. And so he reviewed that, because if we're going to enter into this reserve, we have responsibilities to control our behavior and be good citizens. So here's a sign that explains the nature of this reserve. It shows this abandoned lighthouse house, the keeper's house for the lighthouse out on the island. So that structure there is that structure out there. So this is the coast of the Pacific Ocean. There are big rocks, seabirds. It's fairly calm today. The waves are not big. If someone came here wanting to surf today, they would not find any big waves. Okay, we are coming into the area where the elephant seals are to be seen, and what I'm seeing here is interesting. There is a turkey vulture sitting on a fence post. He's a little wary of us, but hasn't taken off yet. I think he's going to take off rather shortly. So from this location, you can see the island and the ruins of the keeper's house. Apparently there are a lot of sea lions on that island, no people. Over here, you can see elephant seals in the shallows, and they appear to be play fighting, interacting with each other. They're making some very interesting guttural sounds, and I'm not certain that you'll be able to hear them. I've been hearing them on the trail, kind of a bubbling, strange guttural sound, and it's the elephant seals communicating with each other in their way. There are some elephant seals up on the sand. So this is our first view of them from here, and I'm hoping to get closer and give you a better view. So lots and lots of elephant seals in the area. So here we have a couple of elephant seals in the shallows. You can hear the guttural bubbling sounds that they're making. Looks like my interpretation, for what it's worth, is they're play fighting. This doesn't look like a battle to the death, but they are confronting each other. These are all elephant seals. Okay, so this is an extraordinary day for visiting the elephant seals. There are a lot more than I'm used to seeing here, and they're a lot closer than I'm used to seeing them. There are some down here basking in the sand. They've hauled out and they're just laying there, enjoying their leisure time, if you will. Some of these young males are play fighting. You can see that back there, and also out in the water. All different age groups here. Every animal you see out there is an elephant seal, but they're all different sizes, all different ages. There are a lot of juveniles mixed in. I'm hoping to capture some of the guttural sounds made by the big males. I'm not sure, because we're kind of at cross purposes. My purpose on this sound system is usually to exclude background sounds, not to record it. But here I'd like to record it. I'm not sure. You may hear kind of a bubbly guttural sound. Okay, so we've got 2 young males in the shallow, actually a third, but 2 of them were doing a little play fighting. And over there you can see more in the shallows play fighting. Well, I have to admit I'm really grateful for this display. I couldn't be happier that the elephant seals accommodated our needs here so thoroughly. So many animals showing their behavior. What a fantastic visit to Año Nuevo State Park and the elephant seals in the preserve. Well, it's time to start heading back to the parking lot and off to other adventures. Well, I could not be happier on this visit. I'm hoping that the footage and the sounds are good for you all, but this was an extraordinary visit. I think literally I'm the only one here. I did run into people. I ran into 1 park ranger and 2 volunteers, but I ran into no other visitors. We are coming back to the parking lot. This is, of course, the easy part of the trail, which is good because you can wheel people with mobility problems on this. So it's really a very nice way that the state park system makes it inclusive of people irrespective of their mobility. This is a good view of the local ecology. We've got a lot of dry grass. We have some small brush, some bigger trees, but not too many. Some people might call this desolate. It has its own beauty. If you look closely at what you see here, this is tremendous biodiversity. Lots of different kinds of plants, not just lots of plants, but lots of different kinds of plants dispersed in this view. That tells us that it's probably a pretty healthy ecosystem if you see this kind of biodiversity. Okay, we have returned to the parking lot. I went through the visitor center. There really wasn't anything that it was practical to make video. It's a visitor center. So if you come here, I would recommend that you go through it. It has a lot to offer, but I can't use it for video production. It just is impractical. So in a previous video, we talked about whether a trip like this is a destination to be strived for, or that maybe the journey is a big part of it. And for me, the journey was a big part of it. The walk to the elephant seals was just short of 2 miles in each direction. So it was quite a walk, and it was made more strenuous that probably a third of it was on sand dunes, and it's very difficult to walk on sand dunes. It takes a lot of energy to walk on sand dunes. This is not a complaint, it's an observation. So that was a fairly strenuous 4-mile walk for me, and I really valued it. Certainly it was the journey, not just the destination. And this was the best display of elephant seals that I've heard of anybody having on a visit to Año Nuevo State Park. So that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I invite comments below, and I hope you join us in future videos. See you soon.